just heard of mariachi. Mariachi has become a worldwide phenomenon, not only in Mexico and other Latin countries, but in nations such as Japan, China, and Europe. The word mariachi means dia de fiesta. Mariachi is exactly what that is. It is known to lighten up parties, bring the party to the parties, and it also represents a culture. Mariachi began thanks to the Spaniards. They introduced new instruments and new instrumental groups. The Mexicans took these instruments, gave them their own tuning, and adapted them to make it their own. It is said, though, that the first mariachi style of music was a son jalisciense. It's usually very fast and uses all instruments. Now, the most common of these son jaliscienses is La Negra, which was the song that you just heard before. Mariachi since then has adapted several styles like polkas, waltzes, corridos, which are most commonly used to tell stories, and ballads and huapangos, which are said to be derived from the state of Veracruz. And several more styles were adapted into mariachi. Mariachi has become something that speaks to several people around the world, not just in Mexico. The sones and other music allow people to dance. Several mariachis perform with their own folkloric groups to enhance their performances. Mariachis such as Vargas and Cobre have their personal folkloric groups to perform with them. The steps of the dancers follow the rhythms, which they call zapateado, while the mariachi members feed off their energy. It's a back and forth process where the mariachi feeds off of the dancers' energy and the dancers feed off of the mariachi's energy. It's a beautiful thing to see. Talking about members, a mariachi was originally just string instruments. No trumpets, no brass, and just a bass and a guitar. A few violins and a guitar and a guitarón and vihuela. Now, mariachis have become larger by incorporating trumpets, flugelhorns, harps, and flutes, and some mariachis even perform with symphonic orchestras. The most uncommon of these instruments would be the guitarón and vihuela. The guitarón is a bass in the group. It is hollow, has a rounded back, and has 6 strings. So it's a 6-string bass, but it gives off a different, deeper tone. The vihuela is similar to a guitar, but only has 5 strings. It is also hollow, and just as like the guitarón, it has a rounded back. It has a higher tone, much like the ukulele, but isn't played like the ukulele. It's mostly played like a guitar. These two instruments are the unique part of a mariachi. It signifies their differences from other groups, and most of the time it's just two. It's a single guitarón and a single vihuela. Mariachi groups have grown since the beginning of their time. Now there's up to 8 violins, 3 trumpets, like I said before, is 1 guitarón and 1 vihuela, a guitar, and most mariachi groups now have harps. They exist all over the nation, and some even in other countries. Mariachis have become a way for people, mostly the youth, to keep hold of their culture in a great way. It is hard to come to a nation and lose your culture. But mariachi programs have been exposed in several schools around the nation, and even local groups have become to appear. It's a way to express yourself and keep a tight hold to this beautiful culture. Mariachi has become a larger thing now than ever. With more members, a larger audience for several groups, and an admiration for its culture. Has always been a large part of my life. I've been playing it. I've been into mariachi for up to 10 years now, and I'm sure of other people's. With the history into the early 19th century, mariachi has stayed true to its roots, not only representing a nation, but also a culture. It brings the life to parties, it brings music alive, and, like I said before, it's to represent the culture.